What's going on, you guys? I'm Kyle Batty. I'm a realtor here on the Central Coast of California. And what I want to talk to you guys today about is how I passed my real estate exam and what I did to study for it. Basically, to become a realtor, you have to take 3 classes. You have to pass them. Then you take your information, you apply to the state. They give you a test date. Boom, go take your test. Pass 70%, and then you become a real estate agent. Anyways, the classes I took were through Allied Real Estate School. I took the real estate principles, real estate practice, and then one elective you're allowed to choose. I chose property management. But you can choose finance. There's a list of classes you can choose from. The actual real estate exam is going to be on the principles, and basically it's a 15-chapter book. And the way I did it is you go through each chapter, and I made sure that I could tell you the definition of every vocab word that was there. Then you go to the end of the chapter. You have your 15 questions, be able to answer those as well. After I was familiar with those 15 chapters and all the vocabulary out of the textbook, I then joined prepagent.com. I got a hiccup, I'm sorry. That program was I would use every day, and the test for the state, I believe, was 150 questions, and these tests were giving me about 100 questions per test. So I wanted to make sure that I was doing about 200 questions a day, so I knew what that would feel like when I sat down to do it, so I wasn't overwhelmed with a time frame or what that felt like. Oh man, if I'm only used to doing 20 questions, what does 150 feel like? That way you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. So the day of the actual test, I chose Fresno. Fresno's about 3 hours from my front door. There's road construction, so I had flashcards with me, but I had already memorized all my flashcards. But I'd stop, and I had butterflies in my stomach because to me it was a big deal. I told my wife knows I've been studying hard. My little girls know I've been studying so hard as well. Got to Fresno, and I got to the place where my test was, and Fresno was pretty warm, so I had on my tank top and some shorts and my Converse, and I got there, and I was a little nervous because everybody was dressed very, very nice, and I thought I had overread something, maybe there was a dress code to get in to take the exam, but I was wrong, and there was not, and I was like, oh, thank gosh, because I wasn't dressed in the quite a business attire. So, anyways, I went in, and I was actually the last one in to take my exam. They actually look at your hands to make sure you didn't write any answers on your hands, and even my glasses. I had to take off my glasses, and they made sure there weren't computer or anything, any Mission Impossible vibes going on in my glasses. So anyways, I was the last one in. I sat in the corner and powered through my exam, and you just, like I said, it's just vocabulary, boom. This very similar to the prepagent.com. I was actually the first one to be done with my exam too, which is really cool. Once you leave, you go back, you get your stuff out of a locker. They hand you a piece of paper, and the paper stapled together. They say, do not read these results till you're off this property. So anyways, exited the property, and on the way to the car, opened it up, and sure enough, I passed. And it was one of those feelings of, I don't know, man. When you work hard for something and all of a sudden you get it and you're like, boom. It felt really, really good. Again, going back to preparation for the exam is just flashcards, just memorizing. I usually run a couple miles in the morning, and leading up to the exam, I stopped running and I started walking, but with index cards, just memorizing all the vocabulary I could. And again, there are so many great videos on YouTube, but the one I recommend that I used, and it helped me tremendously. Well, I passed, and I actually passed. I was the first one out, and I passed in I think it was an hour and maybe an hour and 4 or an hour and 6 minutes, boom, out of there. So anyways, that is it. So that's what I did. You cannot pass unless you know what the vocabulary is, period. Learn the vocabulary. Go on to prepagent.com, follow Joe, and you will pass, providing you know all the vocabulary. So again, I'm Kyle, and I hope that's shed some insight on how to get to your real estate license, and offers some advice on how I was able to get past the state exam. Thanks for tuning in.